This is probably my kids' favorite video of all time. Let's make 3 of the best vegan, dairy-free, and gluten-free chocolate chip cookies. Hey kids, I made more cookies! This first recipe is the most normal chocolate chip cookie recipe we have. It tastes just like a normal chocolate chip recipe. It's delicious, it's gluten-free, it's dairy-free, and it's great to have on hand whenever you're out of butter or maybe out of flour, right? It's a nice recipe to have in your back pocket, even if you don't have these allergies. So let's put it together. You'll start by blending some oats into flour. Super easy, just put your regular whole rolled oats or any type of oats into the blender. We'll mix the dry ingredients. It's 1 cup of oat flour, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of white sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Mix those quick. Then instead of an egg, we use 2 tablespoons of any type of plant milk. And instead of butter, we use 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And then of course, you need some vanilla. This is about 1/4 teaspoon. Now, it's going to be dry and you need to do a lot of mixing until it incorporates because you don't want to add too much liquid or else these will turn out to be pancakes. So just take some time, incorporate all of that liquid until it forms cookie dough. You may even want to use your hands if needed. You want it to be able to form into a ball. Then 1/3 cup of chocolate chips, dairy-free chocolate chips to keep these gluten-free, dairy-free, and vegan. Preheat the oven to 325. And we will form these into small balls so that we can get at least 12 out of this big ball. I love this batch because it's just enough to quench your sweet tooth without making so many that you overeat. This will go in the oven for 10 minutes. Cookies are done. Look at how perfect and awesome these look. These are really good. You want some? Sure. Actual cookies. I know, they're actual cookies. Are you ready to make the healthiest cookies that you have ever made? The next set of cookies we're going to make are actually called super healthy chocolate chip cookies because they're all made of whole food, plant-based ingredients, except for maybe the chocolate. Now the base of this recipe is actually dates and walnuts. So you'll definitely need a food processor to put this one together. I'll also be using some of our leftover oat flour from earlier. We'll start by adding 1½ cup of walnuts, then 1 packed cup of dates, 1 cup of oat flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 tablespoon ground flax seeds, about 1/3 cup of water, and about 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Now we'll mix everything together. Then we'll finish these off with 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. Just a really quick chop together. You'll want to preheat your oven to 350 while you scoop up the chocolate chip cookies. Now with the chocolate chips, make sure they're dairy-free, especially if you are giving them to someone who has any dairy allergies. These are my favorite kind of dairy-free chocolate chips. Those will bake for about 12 minutes.
A video of everything?
Lastly, we have the almond butter chocolate chip cookies. Now these cookies are a mix between the super healthy cookies and the more sugary yet vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free other cookies. They're fantastic, they're super satiating, and I'm excited for you to try them out. So when you're making cookies without butter, it gets tricky. You kind of have to use oil or either go completely whole food plant-based, right? So these are a mix because you use almond butter instead of butter. Okay, so you'll need 1 cup of, this is almond flour, right? Blanched almond flour. Then you'll add 1/4 cup of maple syrup, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of almond butter. A lot of almond butter. 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And we'll mix these in before we add the dairy-free chocolate chips. Now, as you can tell, this is also refined flour-free or any type of flour-free. So it's a good variation to the other 2 recipes we made. Perfect, and now we're ready to add the chocolate chips. This was 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. Let's scoop them up and add them to our pan. Now, these cookies will not melt down, so you do want to smash them down a little bit, just like we did with the super healthy chocolate chip cookies. These go in the oven at 375 for 10 minutes. All right, the almond butter cookies are done. Look at these beauties. These ones are super rich and really satisfying. They're definitely higher in calories, but they're so satiating. You only need one or two. Hey kids, I made more cookies. I made so many cookies today, they don't even want them anymore. If you like these recipes, make sure to check out our other videos that have more sweet snacks that you can enjoy. I'm getting sick from eating so many cookies.